Imagine a snowy road swallowing a young lady, one of her hands stretched out, longing for someone to pull her out, with her face and eyes showing so much fright and fear, while the ground still continues to swallow her slowly. Who was Maura Murray? To her family, to her friends, she was a force. Bright, sharp, full of potential. A former West Point cadet, she carried that inherent discipline, that drive into her new path as a nursing student at UMass Amherst. She was an athlete, a runner, with a focused gaze that hinted at a deeper ambition. She had dreams, big plans for her future. She was a young woman on the cusp of truly defining herself. But beneath the surface, behind the bright smiles and the determined gaze, Maura also had secrets. Not necessarily dark secrets, but personal struggles, quiet challenges. Like so many young adults navigating their lives, she had moments of vulnerability, cracks that, in hindsight, those closest to her began to see. Little shifts in her behavior, unspoken anxieties, hints of a life that was perhaps more complicated than it appeared from the outside. These small, barely noticeable fissures would, in the weeks leading up to that fateful night, become terrifyingly significant. The music fades, leaving a subtle, ominous hum. The unsettling shifts began in early February 2004, specifically on February 5th. Maura was working a late shift as a campus security guard. The night was quiet, routine, until the phone rang. Maura took the call. And then something happened. Moments later, her supervisor found her. She was crying uncontrollably, her body shaking, her face pale, a complete breakdown. When asked what was wrong, she simply mumbled, "It's my sister." A tragic emergency, perhaps? A family crisis? But as events would later reveal, there was no emergency, no sister in distress, no family tragedy. The call's true nature remains a chilling mystery. What did she hear? What was said that could shatter her composure so completely? Just 2 days later, on February 7th, another unsettling incident. Maura crashed her father's brand new car. It was a minor accident, but significant. She told no one about it. She didn't report it to the insurance. She didn't confide in her family or friends. It was a secret added to the growing list. These incidents, separate but connected by her strange reactions and her silence, paint a picture of a young woman under immense unshared pressure. Something was going on, something she was keeping hidden, and she was planning something. Something that would lead her into the heart of a terrifying unknown. The plan, whatever it was, took shape on February 9th, the day she vanished. First, the emails. Maura sent messages to her professors, claiming there had been a death in the family. A lie, a fabricated excuse to escape her responsibilities. There was no funeral to attend, no family emergency to rush to, just a carefully constructed narrative. Then the packing. She emptied her room with a chilling efficiency, her drawers cleared, her textbooks taken. It wasn't a temporary trip. It felt like a departure. She went to an ATM, withdrawing $280, a substantial sum for a college student, almost all the money she had. Then a stop at a liquor store, where she bought various alcoholic beverages. Was it for a party, a trip with friends, or for something else entirely? With her preparations complete, Maura got into her black Saturn. She pointed the car north, away from UMass Amherst, away from her routine, away from her secrets, and she drove. But no one knows why. No one knows her destination. The only certainty was the road ahead, stretching into the vast, snowy wilderness of New Hampshire. A getaway. But from what? Or to what? The journey ended abruptly. At exactly 7:27 p.m., Route 112, a remote two-lane road in Haverhill, New Hampshire. Maura's black Saturn, having traveled for hours through the winter night, crashed. Not a severe impact, but enough to lodge the car firmly into a snowbank. A passing school bus driver, a man named Butch Atwood, saw the accident. He stopped. He approached the car. He found Maura inside. She seemed shaken but unhurt. She told him she had called AAA. She said she didn't need help. A strange refusal given the circumstances. What she didn't know, or perhaps didn't want him to know, was that there was no cell service on that stretch of road. No way to make a call. The arrival of the police confirmed the chilling truth. The car was there. Maura was not. The immediate search began. Officers, trained to read a scene, quickly realized this was no ordinary accident. The area was remote, heavily wooded, and covered in fresh snow. Every detail mattered. What they found inside her car only deepened the mystery. It wasn't just a few random items. It was a carefully curated glimpse into her last known moments. And what was missing spoke volumes. They found an open box of wine, an empty Coke bottle, and stains on the driver's side door and ceiling. Was she drinking heavily? Was she distraught? The combination of alcohol and the desolate location raised immediate questions. More unsettling, her wallet was gone. Her cell phone was gone. The very tools for connection, for identification, for survival were conspicuously missing. Yet the car itself was meticulously locked, a detail that baffled investigators. If she ran, why take the time to lock the car? If she was taken, who locked it? The keys were never found. And then the snow. It was relatively fresh, a clear canvas. But around the car, there were no clear footprints leading away from the driver's side. Nothing to indicate which way she might have gone. No signs of a struggle. No blood. No clear path into the dark woods. It was as if she simply lifted off the ground and vanished. The silence of that scene, the perfect, baffling emptiness, only amplified the chilling question. How could a 21-year-old woman disappear so completely, so effortlessly, leaving not a single tangible trace? The car was a sealed enigma, a silent witness to an impossible act, and Maura, a ghost in the winter night. Search dogs, trained to pick up human scent, were quickly brought to the scene. They picked up her trail and followed it for about 100 yards up the road from the crash site. Just 100 yards. A tantalizing lead, hinting at her direction. But then, nothing. The scent vanished, as if she had simply evaporated into the thin, cold air. The dogs, usually so reliable, were baffled. It was as if she had stepped off the face of the earth. The search team scoured the dense, unforgiving woods, battling the bitter cold and the deceptive terrain. Helicopters scanned from above, their powerful lights cutting through the darkness, hoping to spot a sign. But the vast, silent wilderness held its secrets close. In the aftermath of such an impossible vanishing, theories bloomed like dark, desperate flowers, each one attempting to fill the terrifying void of the unknown. What truly happened in those crucial 19 minutes? Was she running from something? A personal breakdown? A mental health crisis pushing her to escape? A secret life she couldn't face, forcing her into hiding? The phone call, the packed bags, the staged death in the family, it all pointed to a planned escape. But to where? And why did the escape end so abruptly, violently on a lonely stretch of road? Some internet sleuths, fueled by obsessive dedication and thousands of hours of research, believe she got into another car. A ride from a stranger, perhaps a passing motorist who offered help. Or a far more sinister possibility that she met someone she knew, someone who was not supposed to be there. And this encounter turned deadly. And then, a dark possibility that she was murdered. Her body hidden, meticulously concealed, never to be found in the vast, unforgiving wilderness. Others speculate she wandered into the unforgiving woods, disoriented, perhaps injured or disoriented from the crash, or from alcohol consumption. She might have succumbed to the freezing temperatures, lost forever to the elements. Her body, swallowed by the vast wilderness, buried under layers of snow and time. The sheer scale of the forest makes this a terrifyingly plausible, yet unproven scenario. Her family, gripped by unending anguish, largely dismisses the idea of a voluntary disappearance or exposure. They believe with unwavering conviction that she was taken, that she was abducted by someone on that lonely road, and that someone out there knows what happened. Someone saw something. Someone holds the key to the terrifying truth and has been keeping it hidden for 2 decades. Years passed. The cold case unit pursued every lead, no matter how small. Concrete basements in nearby properties were searched. Cadaver dogs, trained to find human remains, were brought in again and again, their noses desperately searching the brutal terrain. Still, no answers. Only the chilling silence of Route 112. The questions hang heavy in the air, unanswered, festering, refusing to die. A puzzle with too many missing pieces. It's been over 2 decades since Maura Murray vanished. Over 20 long, agonizing years. The young woman who disappeared on that freezing night would be 43 today. A lifetime has passed for those she left behind. But for them, time stands still. The pain of the unknown. The agony of not knowing if she's alive or gone. Her father, Fred Murray, still searches. He drives the same desolate route every year. He spends his life pursuing every tip, every rumor, every faint glimmer of hope. It's a tireless, heartbreaking quest for a daughter swallowed by the unknown. Her sister, Julie Murray, still speaks out, her voice a desperate echo in the vast silence, refusing to let Maura's memory fade. This isn't just a cold case that gathers dust on a shelf. It's a living, breathing wound that refuses to heal. It's a question that won't die, a haunting riddle that torments investigators, true crime enthusiasts, and a grieving family. How can someone disappear in 19 minutes, in the heart of a winter night, and leave the world forever guessing? How can a life simply evaporate, leaving behind only the chilling echoes of an impossible vanishing? The mystery of Maura Murray endures, and until there are answers, her story remains unfinished, forever trapped in the cold embrace of Route 112. Maura's story isn't over, because someone out there knows. Someone holds the key to this chilling mystery. Someone has information that could finally bring an end to 2 decades of torment. Could the snowy road have mysteriously opened up and swallowed up Maura Murray? If you want to understand the darkest corners of human experience, then hit that subscribe button and follow us.